Wonderful. So there is another question which is coming to my mind. Intermediary means organizations who store personal and confidential information. What security parameters have to be built in to ensure that third party access is stopped? In what way solution providers, we have here so many WARs, systematic solution partners, they can play a role in such type of circumstances?
Once again, I come from a technical field, but in the last 6-7 years, I moved into the legal fraternity. The reason was that because in the judicial system, in the law enforcement, you could find that there were a lot of shortage of technical people. And therefore, I started going into the judicial or to the legal system using the technical knowledge to make situations as simple as possible. Now, there is one act, which is IT Act 2011. It's basically intermediary rules and regulations to be followed by any organization which holds any personal, confidential, or sensitive information. So if you have any of your client who is dealing with some sensitive information, for example, a healthcare industry, or if you have a client which is dealing with some very personal or confidential information related to some public information, it is a must to have proper security practices in place. Now, what type of security practices? One is a cyber compliance audit. The second one, information security audit. VAPT, a vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. And the fourth most important thing is that having the policy guidelines which are put on board to be implemented. Now, when you talk about the intermediary, you also should be aware that government organizations are not a part of the intermediary. Any government or semi-government organizations are not a part considered to be intermediary, even though I am saying with proper application of mind that the Aadhaar database, which is held into the server, which is held by the government itself, doesn't come as an intermediary. But every corporate organization, every small organization comes as a part of the intermediary. There are provisions by which if there is any sensitive, confidential, personal information, if it is not been protected and if it goes into a public domain, into unauthorized hands, the Information Technology Act says up to 5 crore rupees compensation to the victim so-called affected. And there is a provision on the criminal side also that the criminal liability can go up to life imprisonment also. Very rare case, I'm talking in terms of cyber terrorism point of view, but other ways down the line, at least 3 years liability in terms of the criminal punishment is there across. So the corporates, the smaller organizations which are not a part of the government entity is termed as an intermediary, and they have to be protected, number one. Number two, they have to secure their information. And number three, and the most important thing, is that they should keep the data confidential, not getting it into the public domain. If it is found, then it's an offense as per the Information Technology Act.